So, before we get into the yapping, I just need to clarify if any OG Spyro simps clicked on the video expecting a redundant rant about how Dono Skylabnas forsaketh me favourite little purple dragon from back in me day and all these donkeys these days, mate. That's not what's gonna happen today, sorry. This is a video solely on the in-universe implications of Spyro and how Skylanders Spyro relates to the other iterations of the guy. So, if you're a Skylanders grudging little gooner, then the metaphorical door is over there. Now, for the rest of us, let's get down to gossip. As everyone knows, Skylanders did end up using the classic character Spyro, and as mentioned earlier in this video, it ended up being a bit of a touchy decision for the OG Spyro fans who felt duped by the original Skylander game's lack of focus on Spyro despite having his name in the title. So when it really boils down to it, what is up with Spyro? Is he the OG Spyro of legend? Well, it does have something to do with a legend. So, as anyone who pays attention would know, when bringing Skylanders Spyro to Skylanders, a lot of the lore was actually borrowed from the Legend of Spyro trilogy, you know, the really old one for like the PS2 or some shit. Now for this, I'm gonna assume that, as normal people, you guys know jack shit about the Legend of Spyro games other than the basics. But essentially, to give a bit of a rundown, they were an early 2000s edgy Spyro reboot that would create characters like Cinder and Malfour, which you should know from Skylanders, at least partially. So with that established, let's actually take a look at Skylanders Spyro, starting with his official Skylander backstory you can find in Swap Force, which, very vague I must say, saying he came from a faraway land. And this is actually referred to in the Skylander comics just a tad bit, when Spyro talks about his experiences going to Skylands. But really, still not much on this supposed home of his. The comic does later go on about a time when Spyro met Cinder though for the first time, and he had to fight her, just to have it be revealed that she was actually under the mind control of Malfour. Shocker. Which actually did happen in the original Legend of Spyro trilogy, but of course it happened in that universe differently. Because while some may think Spyro from Skylanders actually is the same Spyro as the Legend Spyro, who emigrated to Skylands after the 3 games, that just can't be happening. Because like, if Spyro fought Cinder in Skylands, that disproves the theory. Overall though, Spyro's origins before Skylanders are very vague. No substantial details, just that he came from a land of dragons, which was completely separate from Skylands. However, what if I were to tell you Skylanders is still connected to the Legend of Spyro trilogy? But Spyro is not the same Spyro from that game, no sir. So, let's roll it back to the original Legend of Spyro game. One of the very first pieces of information established to the player is the fact that the purple dragon is some special breed born once every 10 generations who can actually master all the elements. Some real Avatar type shit going on there. Anyway, this is important because there can be more than one purple dragon throughout history, just every 10 generations. Now, if we roll forward to Skylands, one interesting tidbit of information reveals itself in Spyro's bio. As a magical purple dragon, Spyro has the ability to harness the power of all the elements, though he prefers to master fire. Which, might I say, that's probably also the explanation as to why Spyro's a magic element, even though he only uses fire breath, so that's why a lot of people say he should be fire, but he technically can use every element. Also, that's just a big missed opportunity in the gameplay department. Imagine Spyro using all 8 elemental breaths in gameplay. That'd be sick. But no, I'm just a little fire guy. Anyway, where have we heard of a purple dragon who can master all of the elements? Oh yeah, the Legend of Spyro. That's when the mastering all the elements concept first came up. So, at the very least here, we know that between Skylanders and between the Legend of Spyro, we're dealing with the same purple dragon mythical element prophecy here. At least the same line of dragons. So, we know that between Skylanders and the Legend of Spyro, we're at least dealing with the same prophecy, purple dragon, element mastering line of dragons. So, that's something to go on. But if you're still not convinced, let's just take a quick look at Skylanders Spyro. Overall, I know this might be a bit of a controversial take in the Skylanders community, but I high-key agree with a lot of the pissy Spyro fans over Spyro Skylanders redesign. However, I do think they blow it. Drastically out of proportion, that is. Overall, though, I honestly feel like the designs in-game actually deteriorate over the franchise's run. In SSA, he's still got the general look, but I think it's more personified, maybe due to SSA's general art style. But overall, he's fairly cool in SSA, I'd say. But as we get into Swap Force and Trap Team, the general look starts to decline. Like, there's some clear personality differences there. It might just be the HD style, but I don't think it blends as well together. Either way, though, there's some clear differences, especially compared to the Legend Spyro. And then if we also look at the actual personality of the two Spyros, the Legend Spyro, for those of you who don't know, is some Elijah Wood-esque beta male, while Skylanders Spyro, he's a bit of a cocky little fella, to put it simply. Yeah, I don't really know. Skylanders Spyro's personality is also in Skylanders Academy he's alright, but in the games it's just a little bit not really it. To be fair though, Spyro is alive and not dead, and actually more relevant than ever thanks to Skylanders. So no, Skylanders did not, in fact, kill Spyro. Unless you're playing Nightmare Mode, then probably. Anyway, to steer things back on topic, there's clearly a disconnect between the Legend Spyro and Skylanders Spyro. And they just can't be the same character. But they do hail from the same prophecy. I thought that was already pretty well established. So this may be a bit out there, and I may just be overthinking a reboot of a character. But let's go on and say the Legends games are in the same universe as Skylanders. It could work. So let's say after the Legend of Spyro games, for those who don't know, Spyro basically does the saving the world thing and becoming a little heroic little guy, and he was the most famousest dragon ever. So 10 generations later, a new purple dragon successor is born. In honor of his predecessor, he's named Spyro. Sometime though, when he's but a lad, he's transported into Skylands from his Legends of Spyro home, and he becomes a Skylander, and does all that, masters all the elements, but for some dumb reason he only likes using fire. He's also got a bit of a different look after 10 generations of dragon evolution, never needing to deal with any of the major struggles before Skylands. Spyro grew up to be a cocky mother effer, thinking he's hot shit because he's the purple dragon. As for how he got to Skylands though, that's a whole nother very vague can of worms for another time. Anyway, that is how I think Skylanders Spyro came to be, while maintaining the timeline for the Legend of Spyro, which Skylanders clearly took a good chunk of inspiration from. Now, in the way of the original Spyro, he's got no relation, as far as I can say. One may say they took sparks from the original Spyro chronology, but other than that, OG Spyro is pretty disconnected from Skylanders. So next time one of the OG Spyro simps claims, "Not my Spyro," you can say, no, he is not. But that's just a theory. A dumb theory! Thanks for watching. Oh god, I'm gonna miss you, Matt Pat.